USAA knows dynamic duos can save the day, like superheroes and sidekicks or auto and home insurance. With USAA, you can bundle your auto and home and save up to 10%. Learn more and get a quote at usaa.com/bundle. Restrictions apply.
Whatever the occasion, effortless elegance is right this way. Because Hilton brings you new ways to stay courtesy of the Nomad London. And it doesn't stop at award-winning dining in a space draped in velvet and illuminated by vintage chandeliers. No, this day goes beyond with unparalleled personalized service and attentive hospitality. Oh, and did we mention the Nomad London can be booked using your Hilton Honors points at Hilton.com? Hilton, for this day.
Welcome back to Connect with Jonathan Mark. Now, this is a very unique episode and one that you are definitely going to want to listen to. We recorded this all the way back in season 1, and we had it on the shelf, but we can't hold it any longer. Today, we're connecting with Janice, a mother who lost her son tragically. Now, the story to this is actually really interesting. I read her a very, very long time ago. And I'll never forget this because my mom does my appointments and she rarely makes mistakes. And I will never forget that I was doing a reading for a police officer for an unsolved case. And all of a sudden the doorbell goes off. And, we all go rushing because we didn't really know who it was. And Janice is there with her daughter for a reading. And my mom is frantic. And I'm kind of like, oh my God, what's going on? And we push her to the following week. We just rescheduled her. Now, in that week period is when her son, Ryan, passed away tragically. So this episode is extremely special to me. Now, the audio may be a little different just because you're really hearing this from season 1. We updated the new, software. So everything is a little different. But trust me, this is one you're going to want to hear. And also, you're going to want to stick around to hear updates on the Long Island serial killer case. Trust me, it's all insane. They keep flashing the name Ryan. Who's Ryan?
Ryan's my son. Who's passed?
Now, what he keeps doing to me is he keeps putting a car and he's grabbing his head at the same time. And he keeps basically... So basically what he keeps showing to me is that he fell, but he keeps showing me the car and grabbing his head. And I have to be honest, because he's a funny, funny man. He's making the best of a very intense situation. He's a very, very funny person. Another thing, too, he keeps doing to me, which is kind of cool. He keeps holding up the number 5 to me as like something with 5, how 5 is very important, or there's something with 5 with him. Whether it's...
There is.
Okay. I want to ask you this, and it's kind of what I'm seeing. Who's the RO name that was with him the night it happened?
Ronan, a friend.
Okay, because he keeps showing me in my head that he keeps grabbing him, rubbing his back and like hugging him, saying he needs to stop thinking that it's his fault. Because what he keeps talking to me about is that it's not his fault what happened, but he keeps putting a roof over the RO name as if like, I don't know if something happened under his roof of his home. I don't really know, but he keeps saying that it's not his fault. So please like give him a hug for him. Because I see that there's a period of time as well too, honestly, that he was struggling very much about this. And oh my God, this is crazy. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. So my mom has a very unusual name. I'm just going to be plain simple.
Okay.
Who's Ruth? Because that's my mom's name.
Ruth is my aunt who's passed.
Because your Aunt Ruth, I guess, or my mom. Because
your mom. No.
Well, it's your Aunt Ruth, but they're flashing my mom because my mom is Ruth. And
okay.
Basically, she keeps smiling and saying that she's taking care of him because she's saying she doesn't want you to ever think that he's alone up there because he's not. Like, you really need to know he's not alone. Your Aunt Ruth is also someone who's, I have to be honest, one of the kindest people. Like one of the kindest. She's very soft. Now, your son is a very outgoing and strong personality, very different personality types.
Right.
But this is someone who's living, because Ryan keeps tapping, the person who's living. Who's Nicole?
Nicole's his sister, my daughter, his older sister.
I have to ask you this because he's also showing this to me. I don't really understand this, because this is like also a side note to this, because he keeps talking so fast because he's a very talkative person. So
yeah, that he is.
What's with the backpack? He keeps saying there's a mystery backpack or something. There's something with a mystery backpack, because he keeps putting question marks and he keeps putting a backpack next to me. Another thing he's doing, which I think I don't know if it's a Long Island thing. I don't know. But there's a clothing company with a whale on it. I forgot what it is.
Vineyard Vines.
That's it.
Yes.
Because he's smiling, crossing his arms, saying it's either something that he wore all the time or something that maybe he was like buried with or something, but he keeps closing his arms but putting that whale clothing like brand in front of me. So another thing, he's going back to Nicole, because this is where he's coming in. Was he a very family-oriented person? Because he seems extremely family-oriented, and he keeps talking about the dynamic and the switch of like what happened from when he passed to what it is today as like a whole of the family, because he's saying that you and Nicole we're always close. He's saying you guys became best friends, like inseparable best friends. And he's saying to me, because he keeps repeating this to me over and over again, is that when he was here, he felt like he had an obligation to protect you. And what he's also saying to me at the same time is, he's saying things happen behind closed doors, but he's saying when things happen behind closed doors, that's when he's saying he would always try and protect you when it was needed. And what he's saying is he's so proud of where you are today because of certain things that had happened, like in the past when he was alive. Because what he's also saying to me too is, you don't give yourself enough credit from what happened from when Ryan passed to where you are today and the things that kind of happened in between. And that goes for Nicole as well too. He's also smiling at this too. I think your son was I don't know if he made it to college, but it seems like he was very excited to potentially go to college, because he seems like someone that would really kind of thrive in I'm going to say a college environment, really. And he keeps basically saying that he was living through Nicole because he's saying he never got that college experience.
Yeah, he didn't make it to college, but was very proud of his sister on her accomplishments.
I wanted to ask you this because he keeps saying, did you move to a new home? Like after he passed, did you move to a new home?
Yeah, after he passed, I moved.
Because in his other home, like I guess where you were, he keeps smiling, saying you would literally walk into his room and just sit on his floor or on his bed. And he's saying just to be alone. Like he's saying just literally alone. But he's saying you would do this when no one was around. And he's saying when like you could have this alone time, because he's saying that you had to put such a strong face on for everyone, because which I didn't quite, this is interesting. His story picked up steam, it seems, of what had happened. And he's saying like in the midst of all of that, you needed that alone time, because he's smiling at that. Okay, so I played lacrosse. And we used to wear jersey. I used to wear a jersey when I would play, right? Like in college. What's with the jerseys with him? He's like keeps smiling and waving jerseys, and he keeps throwing it at you, saying that like there's some type of jersey or jerseys that are so important to him, like that really meant so much to him. And going back to what I'm saying, to even like the whale belt or whatever company that is, Vineyard Vines.
Yeah. So, they all the kids wore Vineyard Vines, and I'm sure you did too, that even in winter they'd wear shorts, or they would wear, and he was growing so fast. He was just before his 16th birthday. He was just growing so fast. So
really?
So we always wore Vineyard Vines if he had to get dressed, if they were going out or But then when it came time for his services, I could not find a pair of pants. I actually, we had to go buy pants to bury him in. And the man at the store was trying to sell. And I'm like, I just need one pair of pants. Like, just one. Like, please don't make me tell you why. So, and then the jerseys, he like collected them wherever we went. If we traveled, it was like a sports jersey or whatnot that we would get. So have like a lot of jerseys. And then after he passed, maybe I shouldn't say so. A lot of the kids took his jerseys from the school teams and gave them to me so that I would always have his final jersey.
And what's with the number 5 though? Because he keeps going 5 to me again.
5 was the number that every team he was on, he was number 5. So, and it's carried through. Like tattoos and stuff.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. He literally keeps holding the number 5 to me. So I'm just like, there has to be some type of significance with it. So
5 is everywhere now.
So another thing too, because what he's also saying is that he needs you to know it's really your Aunt Ruth. Your Aunt Ruth is a very special person, I'm going to say. Like a very special. She's saying she was very close to you. Like very, very close to you. And what she's saying is that she just really wants you to know, like that she's taking care of Ryan because Ryan, I don't know how old he would be, maybe 23, maybe 24, like
21.
Oh, so
he would have just turned 21.
Oh, okay. Because your Aunt Ruth keeps smiling, saying she has to tame him. Like, I just assumed it was like early 20s, like 23, 24, like, but she's saying that like, it's so interesting because for someone who had a personality like his, he was such a protective person for you. He keeps signifying that he needed to protect you. And he felt like that was his job because he's saying to me, like over and over and over again, essentially that he would hear things and that he knew he needed to protect you about certain things that he was hearing and certain things. And what he's saying too is, I just want you to know, because he's saying this, and it's so nice that I know he said how proud he is of you, which is the truth, but truly this steps forward that you took after he passed and the relationship he keeps talking about with, your family and how that shifted and changed and how you're standing tall and smiling right now. I'm telling you, he is so proud because he's saying that he wanted you to have this shift and change before he passed, he said. Even before he passed, he keeps saying that he would encourage you to make this change. And he is so proud of you. And he's so proud of Nicole too, because he keeps talking about his sister Nicole and just how, a second chance is a big thing for people. Because he keeps talking about how she's giving her father a second chance, like a true second chance. And he's saying how amazing and powerful that is because he keeps saying for a while, it's kind of like if you teeter on the fence, whether you want to do it or you don't want to do it. Mm-hmm. But he keeps basically saying to me kind of through and through with everything that he's just so proud that she's giving him that second chance. And with you, I have to be honest because he's smiling at this. He keeps saying that you still see his friends all the time or something.
I do. His friends are amazing. I call them my adoptive kids. I call them the kids.
Okay. Because
they're not kids anymore. They're 20-something years old. I call them my kids.
I mean, he is literally smiling, being like, do they still come over to your like new house and stuff? Or
they do. Honestly, I just got a text from one of them the other day. They'll come over. We have what we call a family dinner.
Oh my
There could be 20 kids here. They have been a godsend throughout this whole process.
Because he's literally saying that he's having like straight FOMO about it.
We do have a lot of fun, actually. That relationship's a little odd too, but
No, he's just saying that like honestly, he's saying from when he passed to where they are, they like truly stepped up. Like it seems like they became way more involved. And I'm not saying that they weren't involved prior, but he's saying it was a really different like change when he passed, how involved they got with you and just making sure that you're okay, because he's saying that he is completely and utterly shocked, like how much that they still communicate with you. But the biggest thing I want to ask you too, or like one of the biggest things, is that RO name. Do you not speak to him anymore?
I haven't heard from him in a while now.
Because he's saying that like when you have these family dinners, the RO name is like not part of it. And what he's saying is that this kid, well, not a kid anymore, this man,
really good,
I feel horrible because the way that Ryan's describing the situation is that, I don't know if it happened in his home. I don't know if because what Ryan keeps saying to me is something with the car, but he didn't pass away initially from the car. It was after, and he keeps grabbing his head. So he keeps saying it's like someone witnessing someone passing away and feeling responsible for it. He keeps grabbing his chest, saying like he needs him to know that he's not mad. There's nothing like that. He's actually like there's nothing. And your Aunt Ruth is standing there like this, smiling, like that's how he's supposed to be. Like that's how he's supposed to be. So he keeps smiling about that, and he keeps literally repeating to me like over and over and over again that I don't expect you to hang up and give him a call. Like that's not what I'm saying. I think the next time if you ever cross paths with him, just give him a hug, because I'm telling you, he is struggling. He still is struggling. Like, he's still struggling.
Are your business expenses playing hide and seek? With Uber for Business, the small spends that slip through the cracks, like rides and meals, go right where you need them. Because it integrates with leading expense platforms, you can say goodbye to surprise costs, missing dollars, or chasing receipts. Everything's track downable. Uber for Business. Make small steps that make a big impact. Learn more at uber.com/small steps.
Summer's here, and you can now get almost anything you need for your sunny days delivered with Uber Eats. What do we mean by almost? Well, you can't get a well-groomed lawn delivered, but you can get a chicken parmesan delivered. A cabana? That's a no. But a banana? That's a yes. A nice tan? Sorry, nope. But a box fan? Happily, yes. A day of sunshine? No. A box of fine wines? Yes. Uber Eats can definitely get you that. Get almost anything delivered with Uber Eats. Order now. Alcohol in select markets. Product availability may vary by region. See app for details.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile with a message for everyone paying big wireless way too much. Please, for the love of everything good in this world, stop. With Mint, you can get premium wireless for just $15 a month. Of course, if you enjoy overpaying, no judgments, but that's weird. Okay, one judgment. Anyway, give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
I can also see too, like that he also wants to communicate with you as well too. Like he also wants to reach out to you. The way that Ryan's saying it to me, it's like it became a weird situation.
A weird dynamic.
Yeah, he said it became a weird situation and stuff. And what he's also saying too is that the biggest thing for your son is the fact that you got justice. He keeps saying there was justice for his name and justice for the situation. And he's saying that's a huge thing for him, because he's saying at first, I don't know if you even wanted to go down that path. I don't think you even wanted to go, because he's saying there was like 2 doors.
No.
You go down one door and that's the justice, and you go down the other door, which is kind of, because he showed me 2 doors essentially. It's like justice or just let it go and grieve alone.
Right.
And he's saying that you were really towards the grieve door, but you opened up the justice door because you knew that's what he wanted to do. But it took a lot, it seems, out of you to do that.
It did.
And I just want to let you know, like, don't ever question what you did, and don't ever question if you made the right choice, if that's what Ryan would or wouldn't want. Because I'm telling you, he's smiling, saying this is exactly what he would have wanted. Exactly. Because he's saying the fact that you got justice and like cleared his name, because he's saying there was also a lot of, and I don't know if this is kind of what he's speaking about, but he's saying in where he grew up, it's kind of like cliquey. He keeps saying like parents are cliquey. And he keeps talking about that they were creating these narratives that were not true. So the fact that you got justice, he's saying you were able to clear off a huge narrative. He keeps talking to me about that. Honestly, protected you and protected his name. Like it was like kind of a mutual.
And the kids.
It was everything.
And Ronan and the kids.
It was literally everything. It was just, but like in this situation, he's like really talking about you, because he's saying how much that it took out of you to even try to go down that path. Like, and that's a huge thing for him. Like an absolutely huge, honestly, it's just like, you should, I wish you could see him. He's just like, he's a good looking dude.
My beautiful boy.
Yeah. He's a good looking,
my handsome kid.
Yeah.
He is. He is. Yeah. He, you know what? It's anything that involves, criminal allegations is just, court dates and things are very trying for me, for Nicole, for the kids, for everybody. But it did work out in the end, I think, for the best, even for the person that, that got in trouble.
Well, that's what I wanted to ask you, because what he keeps saying to me, and I could be wrong by trying to describe this, but it's you got justice, but it's kind of like you gave someone grace, right? So it's kind of like you got this justice that you, in the sense of clearing your name, Ryan's name, and the kid's name, like we were just talking about. But then the person who is responsible, it seems, for it. So this is also something interesting too, because you did let this person off with grace, I see. I see there was two opposing views to that as well. I see you were much more letting off with grace and to move forward in life, to take a step forward in life. There was someone else that was very close and tied to you that felt very differently. I can see that felt like you were held responsible. Like it's like holding someone responsible essentially, but he's happy the way that you did because, like I said earlier on, which is the truth, second chances for Ryan is a very big thing because he's saying he was granted a lot of second chances specifically from you, not like getting in trouble about like silly stuff, but he's saying like school stuff, like second chances of like significant things in his life. And he truly believes in that. So the fact that you were graceful enough to do it, honestly, is
it's just when Ryan would always trying to help people, either, less fortunate or, friends that were less fortunate. And he would, multiple times he said to me, but Mom, if we don't help him, who will? Yeah. Like so-and-so needs new boots, like to play soccer, but he can't afford them. So if we don't buy him, who will? Yeah. And that was sort of, even in my victim impact speech, was sort of okay, I'm giving you a second chance. You better make it worth it, because I've seen the love and support that's come from the community from losing Ryan. Right. And I hear him saying to me, but Mom, if you don't help him, who will? If you don't do it, who will? So I hope he follows through and he takes that second chance and makes something of his life. But, I can only give so much.
You and your story, from what he's shown to me, is like truly remarkable. So I just want to thank you for letting me do this. I just want to thank you.
Thank you. It's, when you're a mom, you always just want to know your kids are okay no matter where they are. Yeah. So it's nice to know he's okay. And I do feel him still taking care of me, to be honest. So it's nice to hear.
And like also too, like, it is nice to see like there is something else over there. But like not only that, I think the most important thing, like besides making sure he's okay, of course, and like that he's around you, is that I always like to look at when it's a son or like a child, if they're alone or not. Because you want to know, like, if are they alone? Are they with someone? But your Aunt Ruth came through like a motherly figure, I guess, to you, but not only to you, but to him as well at the same time. So it's so crazy because when they flash my mom in front of me, like, let's be real here.
How do I get involved?
Yeah, it's like, let's be real here, right? Like, for one, who has the name Ruth still? It's like it's really not a common name. And it's like, it's not. So like when they flash my mom, but then they're underlining her name in my head, I'm like, Ruth? I'm like, you're talking about my mom, or are you talking about someone literally named Ruth?
It's not funny.
Yeah, I'm like, there's like maybe a handful like that.
Yeah. That, like, I think now I know two. Yeah. I knew one, now I know two.
Yeah, it's like, I don't even know anyone besides my mom, honestly. Yeah. Now I know another one, which is like kind of funny. But, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about, like, maybe you can share the story of Ryan, like what happened. And because like what I was seeing before is like, the car and then the fall, but the fall and when he fell, he keeps grabbing his head. But the thing that confused me a little bit is keeps putting the roof over his head with that kid, the RO name. And he keeps talking about like, so there must have been a translation of something happening. And then kind of like there had to be an after effect is what I'm saying. Like there had to have been something.
They were, and 100%, the kids' faults. They were car surfing, which I didn't even know what it was until then.
Yeah, what is that?
You actually were almost like sketching, when you were younger. But I'm way older than you. But no. But you actually go on the roof of the car, and drive. And he fell off and hit his head. Couldn't stand, and none of the kids were driving. They had a driver. Instead of going to the hospital, they brought him back to his friend Ronan's house.
Oh, so he was his house.
And he passed away from a cerebral hemorrhage. And at the time, like I said, they're about 15, 16-year-olds. And poor Ronan tried CPR until the ambulance got there and stuff. So There's multiple levels, I think, there that for 15, 16-year-olds trauma-wise.
Yeah.
And I mean, everyone involved, but probably, more so for him. So yeah, the accident happened somewhere else. So the person that got in trouble was the actual driver. Kids didn't get in trouble. I was a hired driver. So, so he just brought them back. So, but like with a cerebral hemorrhage, it's pretty common. You just sort of go to sleep and you don't wake up.
Yeah, because you don't feel it, right? It's kind of like
it's like a concussion, but nobody knows how bad it is. You're not bleeding.
Right.
You don't have any marks until, of course, then they did bring him to the hospital and there was marks, but not that they're really that visible.
Right. And he probably was with his friends having fun. From what he was saying, it seems like they were a little, drinking a little bit, having fun. But like if I was his age, I would have done the same thing. I think my first reaction would be to go back to my friend's house and like sleep it off if there's no blood or like anything that's like kind of crazy.
I'll be fine.
Yeah, you sleep it off. Like, like wake up and you're like, whoa, like I have a headache or something. And then if it stays, I would be like, I need to go. But this makes a lot more sense. Yeah.
And I think that's where a lot of the justification came, not justification, but like peace for people or the stories that were being told. There was even newscasters who were saying, young drunk kids out there doing this. And when it came back, he wasn't. His blood alcohol levels were minimal.
Yeah.
No, he wasn't. It was like 0.04.
Well, no. I didn't mean like he didn't get past the intoxication level. Yeah.
Nope. So it was not exactly what everyone thought. So I think, that gave some peace to people that like,
that's good.
No, they weren't out crazy,
Right.
But I do think, there was a bunch of 15, 16-year-olds around that age. My daughter at the time was like 18 and her friends.
Okay.
That they grew up really fast.
Yeah.
They grew up really, really fast. They matured really fast. And I think when you were saying about like, he's surprised how, they showed up.
Yeah.
Is they grew up fast. They were 15 to 16-year-olds. And all of a sudden I was having these kids coming over to my house to make sure I was okay, checking in and looking out for each other, looking out for strangers, like people at the services and stuff. Like they realized from the stories that we heard from the services and people that knew Ryan was just the benefits of being kind and showing compassion and being a community. So where he says that, they definitely changed.
No, I'm sure.
All in a good way.
Yeah,
and you know what? They had a way to show up and they all showed up in a good way.
Well, it also seems like you still keep his name alive because what he keeps talking about is, yes, he brought up, the like how they always come over, but he keeps saying it's like a constant conversation still. Like it never really truly dies about like his name, his story, everything. And so much so he keeps saying when someone puts, I know it's really kind of silly, but when someone like rings bells in front of me and stuff, like what he's doing, typically it's like a charity, right? It's like someone with like a charity thing. And he's saying that you've done an immense amount to give back because that's what he would have wanted. He's saying you're putting his name to help out. And he's still thinking, I mean, that's literally what he's showing me currently right now. Always giving back.
It's if we don't help, who will, right? So we've done things with the Guide Dog Foundation. We sponsor a kennel. We sponsored a puppy. With all going in with the theme of Ryan, the puppy failed puppy training, but you know what? Cinco made it, and I just didn't make it to the goal line. But when I got the letter that Cinco sort of failed out of puppy training, it was probably the funniest thing that I've ever read because I was just like, if whatever puppy's going to fail, it's going to be Ryan's puppy. And then we do a lot of like grassroots, like local in the Huntington, like on Long Island area. Like, I don't want to call them scholarships, more like sportsmanship awards or sponsoring kids to play sports if they can't afford to play. Like keep them active, keep them in there. I always felt for, both my kids, sports was a really big part of it. And even for myself, teamwork comes in all different forms. You don't actually have to go on a team sometimes. So we do try to honor and recognize people for attributes that Ryan showed. And it's just being kind, be yourself, wear what you want. If you want to get up and dance, dance. Like just love life.
Right.
And learn people's names, say hello. Again, just be kind. Like I had people come up to me and say like, well, I wasn't the most popular kid in school or I didn't have a lot of friends, but I actually got a letter from someone and they said, saying I didn't have a lot of friends in school. Ryan was in one of his classes because whenever he saw me in the hallway, he said hi and said my name.
That's a huge thing.
He goes, it meant a lot. And I was just little things. Like you don't have to make big splashes. We call it the ripple effect, that what the kids were doing, what we were all doing. Like, if you just be nice to each other, it'll be a ripple effect, and just keep it going.
That is so amazing.
Yeah. So that's where the 5 comes in. It's Strive for 5. He wore the number 5.
There you go. Okay. Yeah. Because he kept holding the number 5. I'm like, there has to be something there. So like,
yeah. Like I said, and I laugh, like, because Ryan, he's tatting up the whole school district as they're turning 21. I get texts every now and then from some kids. Yeah, from kids.
Oh my God.
Kids. Like, oh, I got mine. Here it is.
Oh my God.
I'm like,
that's
okay,
funny.
let's do one more down. How many left?
That is funny. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So we're our own little team.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So it has taught us a lot.
I'm sure.
And he's still looking out for us. And it's so nice to hear that, because I feel it.
Right.
You know, sometimes you like the validation that, like, okay, I think this.
Of course.
You know.
So I just want to say thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on and letting me, read you, like, honestly. And I, hope the best from you.
Oh, thank you so much, Jonathan. I really enjoyed this. Thank you.
No problem.
Take care.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Before we wrap up, I told you guys I would give you an update on the Long Island serial killer case. But first, I kind of want to give you the origin story of how I even got involved in it. So years back, I read a bunch of FBI agents, and they were task force leaders on this particular case. And when it lasts a certain amount of time and they have no new evidence, no new anything, they kind of look for different ways and different avenues to grasp a new type of evidence or a new avenue to go down. So then I get called in to read people that are associated with the case, whether it's detectives, family members, whoever it is. So since 2017, I've been called in to do bits and pieces throughout. So when Rex was arrested, they found bodies all up and down the Long Island Gilligo Beach. And they found, women, they found a man. But then it expanded outside of the states, where it went to like Vegas and Florida and Carolinas, which, was shocking at first, because you did not think that it would go outside of the Long Island, border. But as these updates were coming in, and these new updates are now being kind of shown to everyone, is that it's going to different states that they did not think would have been there. They're going to all over the country, all different types of people, so much so that it's dating back of bodies that were found 20 to 30 years ago. Now, everyone always asks me, are you shocked? Are you surprised about these updates? And the truth of the matter is, from being very close to this case and just seeing different things, I'm not particularly shocked that bodies are being found 20 to 30 years back and that they're scattered all over. It's not just these 3 or 4 areas that they found, warehouses or his home in Vegas or a storage locker. Like, I'm not particularly shocked that he went outside of that. And, I am not going to be continuously shocked as more things like that continuously being brought up in the news and shared with me, because this is an ongoing case. So the fact that this is ongoing, there's going to be more, guys. So just stay tuned. And anytime that I hear any update, I will let you guys know. Janice, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story and being so vulnerable. I know it's really tough to do that. Now, guys, if you want to be a listener question or anything, all you have to do is just rate and review the show, take a screenshot of that and DM it to my Instagram at JonathanMarkMedium, or send it to the email at connectjonathanmark@gmail.com. Guys, thank you so much for listening. Have a good week.